This is the Drummers Resource Podcast, session 17, and the quote of the day is from Will Smith, who said, "If you stay ready, then you don't have to get ready."
You're listening to the Drummers Resource Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Raffini, and we're coming at you with information, education, and motivation for drumming and beyond.
What's going on, everybody? Nick Raffini here with another session of the Drummers Resource Podcast. And there was supposed to be a Stanton Moore interview that I was going to release yesterday. So I hung out with Stanton last Friday and hung out all day in Philly and shed a little bit. And he was showing me some really cool stuff with his brushwork that is just insane that he's got going on. And so after that, we did this interview, and we talked about, I don't know, maybe about an hour and a half. And at the end of the interview, realized that it only recorded 3 seconds of the interview. The audio recorder only recorded 3 seconds. So we don't have the Stanton Moore interview, and I apologize for that. But we're going to do it this weekend, so I'll have that for you next Monday. In the meantime, I'm going to do a solo podcast, and I'm going to start doing these from time to time, not too often, but I'm going to do them every once in a while, and I'll keep them short. But I just want to talk about some different things about the industry, or some different things that are going on in terms of music business or current events with drumming and practice techniques and tips and things like that. Just anything that I can think of that'll help everybody out. And the one thing that I want to talk about now is endorsements. And that is something that I get a lot of questions about. And I don't really think that people understand exactly what an endorsement entails, exactly what they are, and really how to get them and why they should be seeking them out. And, there's a bunch of different things that go into them. So we're kind of going to get into that a little bit today. Just a quick shout out to everybody before we start for leaving reviews on iTunes and rating the podcast. I really, really appreciate it. So if you listen to this podcast and you like it, if you could do me a big favor, just leave a quick review on iTunes and rate the podcast. I would really, really, really appreciate it. We got some reviews on there and a couple comments, and the more the merrier. So if you could do that, I would really appreciate it, and share this podcast with your friends. If they're into drumming and into music, please share it. I would definitely love you for that. Well, I love you already, but if you could do that, I would be grateful. So let's talk about these endorsements a little bit. So first off, everybody has to realize that the company that you're looking to endorse, you're endorsing the company. The company is not endorsing you, so to speak. So you're saying, as an endorser, I love this product, I stand by this product, and I would rather play no other product except this product. So, I have endorsements through a bunch of great companies. So I have endorsements with Boso drumsticks. I have endorsements with Bosphorus cymbals, Aquarian drumheads, Kickport International, and Simpad. And the reason why I have endorsements with all of these companies is because I believe in the product. So Aquarians, I've been playing for 13 years, and I've just recently become an Aquarian artist. Boso drumsticks, I just signed on with them. And now I do a lot of the artist relations stuff with them as well. But I signed on with them because I really dug the bamboo aspect of the drumsticks, and it really resonated with me because it's a sustainable product. Bosphorus cymbals, I love them. They sound amazing. And I was playing Bosphorus before I signed on with them. Kickport, the same thing. I bought the Kickport, used it, fell in love with it, contacted them. Now I'm an artist. The Simpad, same thing. I was using all these products before I signed on as an artist. So one thing that a lot of people do is they just reach out to all of these companies and say, "Hey, I want to be an endorser, and I've never played your sticks before, or I've never played your cymbals before. So send me some free stuff and I'll endorse your product. And you have to realize that it doesn't work that way. First of all, you should only endorse products that you love and that you believe in. And the days of people getting all of this free equipment from drum companies are long gone. I mean, if you're a top call session drummer or touring drummer, then sure, you're going to get some free gear. But for most of the working class drummers, as we call them, the cats that are out there gigging all the time, they're still paying for gear. And even if they're an endorser, they have endorsements with all these companies, they're still paying for gear, because these companies can't just afford to just give everybody all this free gear all the time, because it adds up. And at the end of the day, it's a business and they still have to make money. So although they give people professional discounts on some of the products, they're not going to just gladly hand out all of their product to people for free. So that's, one thing that really bugs me is I get a lot of emails from people that want to endorse Boso drumsticks, and they say, "Hey, never tried your sticks before. Why don't you send me a free pair and I can check them out?" Well, we can't do that. It's just not possible. There's, we get 50 to 100 of those emails a week, and it's just impossible to do. And the thing that I want to really draw to everyone's attention is that the main purpose of an endorsement, it's twofold. One, your job as an artist, as a signed artist to any of these companies, is to help the company sell product. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So if you have visibility and you can impact a large amount of people, then you would qualify for an endorsement. And every company has different standards, but that's the gist of it. So if you're playing 1 gig a month in front of 7 people, at this point, you're probably not eligible for an endorsement. So I think a lot of younger players get a little upset when they get turned down for an endorsement, and it's like, well, I love your product, and why won't you give me an endorsement? Every single time a company signs on an endorser or an artist, it costs them money, because now you're not paying full price for the product, you're getting it at a discount. So you have to keep that in mind, that if you're not impacting a lot of people and you're not going to drive sales for that product, then it's hard for them to say, okay, sure, we'll give you 50% off or 75% off or 100% off of the product. So that's something to keep in mind. One thing that I always tell people is you have to look at your stats, right? So you have to say, okay, am I getting a lot of YouTube hits, or am I getting a lot of radio play? Am I getting a lot of am I doing TV appearances? Am I touring and playing in front of a large amount of people? Now, when I say touring, I don't mean touring and playing in front of 10 people. I mean touring at a decent size level. And I'm not saying this to be offensive. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you what these companies are looking for, because there's thousands of bands out there with drummers that are touring. So, what makes you different than the rest of the guys that are out there, and why should they give you an endorsement? So think about all of your stats and say, okay, am I ready to apply for some of these endorsements right now? And if you're not, that's fine, but get to that point. And then, approach these companies and say, hey, look, I've increased my YouTube views from 100 in January to, 5,000 by April, or whatever the numbers may be, so you can show progress. Because one of the things that the companies also want to see is they want to see progression. They want to see that you're constantly busy. They want to see that you're constantly moving forward. You're pushing on, and you're trying to gain more and more exposure. So, if you're saying, well, I've been playing in the same band for 5 years, we play once a month, and I should get an endorsement. Well, you're probably going to get turned down. But if you say, hey, I'm playing in a band, we used to play in front of 10 people. Now we play in front of 100 people every night, and we have tours planned for this, and we have this going on. And, here's the progression of where we're going. And if they turn you down, then maybe say, do you mind if I follow up with you in 6 months to a year? Maybe we can relook at this application. Another piece of advice that I can give everyone is when you're trying to apply for an endorsement, do not go onto their Facebook page and say, do you offer endorsements? Or how do I get an endorsement? ? Do the homework yourself. Go to the website, figure out what you need to do for an endorsement, and follow the proper channels of applying for an endorsement. So you don't know how many times I get emails that say, y'all got free gear? ? Hey, what's up with some free sticks and an endorsement? ? And one, it's a little bit rude to just go out and say, hey, can I have free gear? But second of all, it's not professional. And you want to come across professional when you're talking to these endorsement companies, because there's 8,000 other people that are sending in applications just like you are. And they all think that they should get endorsements as well. And whether, you could be on one of the biggest tours of the world, you could be playing in front of 50,000 people a night. If you send, DW a email on their Facebook page and says, hey, what's up with some free drums? ? They're going to be like, well, this guy's rude and he's not professional. We're not going to work with him, But if you go about it a different way and go about it professionally, you increase your chances exponentially of getting an endorsement. So a couple things that I suggest for that. One, go online, check out what their credentials are, see exactly what they're looking for. And, I know that a lot of companies will say you need X amount of hits on YouTube, or you need X amount of visits to your website a month, or you need to be playing in front of X amount of people per night, on a nightly basis or a weekly basis or something like that. And they'll say, please do not apply unless you meet these credentials, at least one or two of these credentials. So the first piece of advice is do not apply if you don't meet those credentials, because you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because if you do that, it says, one, this guy doesn't follow the procedures. He's not being professional. And two, they'll probably just write you off, to be honest. And they'll say, nah, next. And they'll look at the next guy. Two, you want to be professional when you're sending your application in. So even if it's just an email, make sure that the email is written correctly. Make sure you're not using you, like the letter U instead of YOU. You want to write it like it's a professional business letter, because that's what it really is. You're trying to get into a business relationship with these companies that has to be mutually beneficial for both of you, right? So if you're coming across as wanting free gear, or you want the drum company to make you a star, I remember when I signed with Aquarian Drumheads, my A&R, or the artist relations rep, Chris, told me, he said, Roy, the owner of the company, always tells people, we can't make you a star. That's your job. And we'll support you every step of the way, but we can't make you a star. That's not what we're here to do. And that's the truth. So when you're applying to these places, think of how it could be a mutually beneficial relationship, not just beneficial for you. You have to make it beneficial for them too, because why would they sign you if you get all of the benefit and they get none of it? So why would they just send you free gear, or, give you 75% off of your gear if it's not beneficial for them? If you're not going to drive sales, if you're not going to impact a lot of people, if you're not going to help get the word out about their product, they're not. And that's the truth of the matter. That's it in black and white right there. So when you send out these emails, think of it as a business, and because it is a business. So think of it as a relationship that you're trying to build, a business, a professional relationship that you're trying to build with these companies. So one thing that I always tell the companies, that I want to help them promote their product, because that's what I want to do. And when I signed all of these companies that I applied for, I did it because I believed in their product, and I was spreading the word about their product before I was even an artist. So to say, hey, Aquarian, I really love your drum heads and I really want to help spread the word about the product, I would be doing that either way. So just the fact that I'm now an artist with them, it gives it a little bit more credibility. But at the same time, I think they saw it as, okay, this guy is serious about spreading the word about this product. He wants to help promote the product. And so, yeah, let's bring him on board. So any of these products that you're looking at, one, think of how you can help them. It's always important to think, how can I help you? And then in return, get help from you. So I always look at every relationship that I try to go into as helping the other person first. And in the end, you will get help from them as well. But so think about what you can offer to these companies, how you can differentiate yourself, right? So you send out this email, it's professionally written. It is a mutually beneficial opportunity for yourself and the company, right? And it's presented in a nice form that they can read it. It's not like just 2 sentences. Oh, I really like your stuff. What's up with free stuff? Come on, send it to me. And because it's greedy and it's not professional. If you were think about it, if you were applying to college, or if you were applying to a job or something like that, you wouldn't send them an email and say, "Got any jobs?" and expect them to say, "Oh, as a matter of fact, we do. We're paying $100,000 a year. You don't even need to come in for an interview. We'll just start sending you a check. We'll see you Monday." It doesn't, I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's the mentality of a lot of people now that they're saying, okay, well, I should just get free stuff from all these companies, and it's not happening. Another thing that I can suggest is sending them a press kit. And I have a example of a press kit that you can, I'll attach a link in the show notes that you can check it out. It's on my website, my personal website, nickruffini.com. It's not on the Drummers Resource, but I'll put it in there in the show notes, drummersresource.com/session 17. I'll put it in there, and it's a little bit outdated. I haven't updated it in about a year or so. So some of my endorsements aren't on there, but you'll get an idea of what I mean by a press kit. And it's basically a way to present myself in a professional manner to any company or to anyone that wants to know more information about me. So there's pictures of me in there. There's information in there of things that, biographical information. There's some info about the records that I put out and the current endorsements that I have and people that I've studied with, and just everything about my drumming career in one professional looking package that I can send to people in a PDF and say, here's everything you need to know about me. So I see a lot of people send emails and they have, bad pictures and just like a couple words about themselves. And it's like, I play with Joe Schmo and this, and here's a crappy picture, and can I have some free drum stuff? So think about, how you're presenting yourself and how you're presenting your brand, so to speak, to these companies. And all of the stuff that I'm saying, I'm not trying to sound condescending. I don't want anybody to think that I'm sitting here saying, oh, well, you're coming across unprofessionally or anything like that. I'm just trying to tell you about some mistake. And I've made these mistakes too. When I was younger, I had a different idea of what endorsements were. And I thought that it was like, oh, you get an endorsement and you just get all this free gear and that's it. And so I kind of made the same mistake. So I'm trying to help other people avoid some of the mistakes I made of endorsements that, I got turned down for. And I got turned down by companies that I'm actually endorsed by now. I got turned down by them years ago and still love their product and was like, hey, I still love your product. Can we maybe work out something now? And I've been in this business for so long now that I have a little bit of credibility now. But at the time, I was 15, 16, 17 years old for some of them, and was like, hey, can I have an endorsement? And, they kind of told me to go away for the time being. So, and that just proves, that I'm still playing products that I love. So, and I could have gotten endorsements from other companies, but I didn't believe in the product. I didn't believe in the company. So I didn't take those endorsements. I waited for the ones that I really loved, and I couldn't be happier with the companies I'm with. So just to review everything, one, make sure that your stats and your credentials and all the things that you're doing are up to par and they meet the standards of the companies that you like. Two, make sure that you're endorsing companies that you love. Listen to me. Make sure that you're endorsing companies that you love. Even if, one company will send you free gear, 100% free, but you really love this other company, don't sign with the company that's going to send you free gear. Please don't do it. It's not right. To me, I think it's just unethical. And why would you want to support something that you don't actually love? So all the stuff, all of my endorsements and all the stuff on the website, I truly believe in the products that I promote. And I will never, ever promote a product that I don't believe in or promote a person that I don't believe in just to make a buck or get free gear or anything like that. So most importantly, support and try to endorse the companies that you love. And if they won't give you an endorsement now, keep playing them and keep supporting them and keep spreading the word about them. And over time, you can revisit it with them and say, listen, I've been playing your product for 10 years. I still love your product and I really want to help you promote your product. Can we work something out? So it's number 3, but it's the most important thing I think on the list is play the products that you love and support the products that you love. Try to endorse the products that you love. 4, when you're sending out your application, make it as professional as possible. Check it for spelling errors. Make sure your pictures are good. Maybe you want to pay somebody a couple bucks to take some high quality pictures of you. Now with iPhones and nice digital cameras, you can do that really cheap. So look professional when you send it through. Maybe get a press kit made if you have somebody that can work with, Photoshop or InDesign or something like that, to get a little press kit together and say, here's what I'm doing right now, all laid out in a nice manner. Make sure that the relationships that you build with these companies can be mutually beneficial for both of you. Mutually beneficial. That's the thing you really have to keep in mind as well. And other than that, just, be genuine with everyone that you're talking to. Don't lie about your stats. If you're playing in front of 100 people, don't say you're playing in front of 1,000 because they look you up. Trust me. Don't lie to them. That'll ruin your chances completely. And yeah, make sure you visit their website. Don't do it through Facebook or anything like that because they're just going to direct you to the website anyway. So go to the website, do the homework, do the research yourself, come across as professional and say, here, I read everything. I'm prepared. Here is everything that I want to submit to you. And you know what? And if they don't accept you, write them another email. Thank you so much for your time. I will continue to promote your product. And, hopefully we can work together in the future. Is it okay if I follow up with you in 6 months to a year and maybe we can revisit this application request? So that's my spiel on endorsements. I hope that helped a little bit. And if you have any questions, please, you can just shoot me an email or leave a comment on the show notes on here, drummersresource.com/session17, or you can email me, Nick Ruffini, RUFFINI.com. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Also, I'll put a copy of of my press kit on the show notes, as well as some other things to help you get a better idea of what I mean for the press kit. And yeah, definitely hit me up if you have any questions. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks so much for listening. Be sure to check out drummersresource.com, facebook.com/drummersresource. And if you like the podcast, please share it with your friends. Leave a review on iTunes and leave us and rate the podcast on iTunes. And if you want to get at me on Twitter, it's at Nick_Ruffini, RUFFINI. And until then, keep drumming. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this podcast helped, and I'll see you next week. Hopefully with the Stanton Moore interview, if the recorder doesn't crap out on us. So until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for listening. Peace.